Well, a very warm welcome, everybody, to live coverage of round 6 of the 2024-2025 Club 100 iRacing Championship for the G3PRO 250, our NASCAR special here at Talladega in sweet old Alabama. My name is Andrew Mather. Alongside me in the commentary box for the final time in 2024 is Howard Mitchell. On a night, Howard, where we're trying some new things that I hope the technology is all going to play ball for us right now. Can you hear us?
I can indeed, and now for something completely different, eh? This is going to be a lot of fun tonight as we take on a famous circuit within the NASCAR circles, the G3PRO 250 as we style it here as something very different. We pride ourselves on good variety here in our Club 100 iRacing Championship, and this is certainly out there for some of the competitors who'll be here this evening. Andrew, you know, this is not going to be a start. I look down the licenses in the lobby tonight for this one. It's got a lot more rookies out there than we're used to when we go to the road courses. So it's always interesting when we try things a bit different, and I'm sure tonight will be no exception.
Absolutely. For the purpose of our championship, the driver classes stay the same. So your premiers from road racing are still premiers, your clubmans are still clubmans, etc., etc. Let's have a very quick look at the points before we get going tonight. This is effectively the halfway stage of the season. This could be a key round for many of those non-Premier classes, because there's always a chance that one of the clubmen's inters, and maybe even a rookie, could get some very big points in what is just one single race here tonight. Kieran Harrison has a very healthy championship score and is present here tonight. This could be another opportunity for him to extend his lead. It could be the best opportunity for any of the others to get their first round win of the year. Matt Kendall is P2. Henry Mackenzie Friedman completes the top 3 in Premier. Clubman, really key tonight for our top running clubmen who are present here at Talladega, that they take the opportunity of big scores on offer tonight. There's 24 drivers. I say it's not the full field that have come out to play tonight. I almost treat this as like a Llandau sprint race. Not everybody would make the trip across to South Wales, and you could often get some big points in that scenario. So for Josh Mitchell, Jack Eyre and Ollie Davies, they're looking for big scores. James Howland is not here tonight. Adam Brown is also not here tonight. They won't lose out. They'll use this as one of their drop rounds for the year, but it's an opportunity for others to really make a big move. We'll be keeping an eye on the Finley Brunton Matthew Davis battle. Thank you for Matt letting me know that it's all the Welsh's fault that we've been getting their name wrong for the last 5 rounds. But in that key battle for intermediate, and then the rookies as well. Matthew Shawnee also present here tonight, current points leader. Let's see how he can get on. Plenty of other drivers out there as well. Qualifying is underway. It is an 8-minute session. It is dry, thankfully. And 3 laps are what's at the disposal of everybody out there to get their laps in. Howard, know anything about Talladega? We might have lost him. Oh, are you back?
I'm here. I would be lying if I said I was a connoisseur of Talladega, Andrew. Most of my stuff is derived from a comedy film, but try and get as much of that reference in as I can tonight. But no, I can't claim to have huge knowledge of the circuit, I'm afraid. Other than always had a lot of fun here when I've used it or viewed things taking place here on the iRacing service. Frankly, I've actually experienced Talladega more virtually than I have watching motorsport there in the full metal form.
Indeed, apologies for the slight technical issue, of course, on the bit of the broadcast that hasn't changed at all tonight. But I hope you're all enjoying everything in 1440p for the first time. the engineer in me is not fully happy tonight, because I'll be honest, folks, we haven't fully tested this system yet, and we have had to do some thinking on the fly to be able to get Howard in on the call tonight. But don't it look pretty, even when it's a bit cloudy here at Talladega? Right, let's have a look at some cars. Let's have a look at some drivers out there. You've not missed any lap times at the moment. Jack Eyre is the first driver to put a lap time in, but is quickly displaced by Sam Sanders. Kieran Harrison up the top. John Adey goes up to P3. And that is a good start for one of the intermediate drivers. If this is your first time watching, what were we talking about when we talk Premier, Clubman, Intermediate and Rookie? Those are the driver classes for the top 3 categories. They're all racing for the potential opportunity to do some Club 100 racing in real life in an SP40 race next year. That's what you get as a prize for winning one of those categories. And there's iRacing dollars on offer as well. The Premiers are the aliens, the ones with very, very high I ratings and good histories as well within this championship. The Clubmans, pretty decent as well, but a lot of them may be new to the championship and haven't proven themselves on this stage yet. The Intermediates are the ones a bit more casual, but with a known history, and then the Rookies are, as it says on the tin, brand new to things here on the iRacing scene. It does not relate to their driver license class. How are times looking at the moment, Howard?
Well, Sam Sanders currently the pace setter at the moment with a 53.15. Identical times at the top. Or, well, actually, our timing tower suggests it's a thousandth of a second different. I don't actually have that level of precision on my main timing. So to me, it's the same lap time.
Yes.
Between Sam Sanders and someone who is going to be interesting to watch tonight, Andrew, in the form of Matt Hale. This very much his event on this Club 100 iRacing calendar in terms of where he would hope to be the most competitive.
Indeed. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it will get louder later when we've got a full 24 of them running around on circuit at the same time. But yeah, Matt Hale, very much the oval specialist. This is the event, Mr. G3PRO, that he looks forward to every single year to try and get a big haul of points to help him in his intermediate cause. And he does need it this year, because so far it's very much been advantage Matthew Davis and for Finley Brunton as well, who out of interest, where is Finley at the moment? Well, Finley's P17. And for Matthew Davis, I'm looking up and down our time screen, he's P10. So not bad, and in a way it is an oval race, so questionable as to how important qualifying actually is. We should note as well, there will be competition cautions tonight, 4 of them, 1 at the quarter length stage, 1 at half, 1 at 3/4, potentially green-white checkers to come into play at the end of the race. This on your screens is Harrison Chapman. Chapman at the moment, top rookie and 5th place overall. Could this be a bit of a shock and a surprise with Harrison Chapman up the order? We saw this with Richard Sanders last year when we ran this race, that he had a very, very good qualifying. And, well, there we go. I think, have we pretty much got everybody over the line? No, there's a couple of cars out at the back of the field. Tom Holland and Andrew Dawson are on laps. There is Tom Holland exiting pit lane, having some internet issues by the look of it, though. I hope they can get that resolved, because drivers have been told in the driver's briefing notes that they can be parked if their connection is particularly bad. Eric Mignon is not on a flying lap there, down on the grass. But Tom Holland hasn't set a lap time yet. In fact, this is going to be his out lap, so he's going to go onto his flyer. He's going to get some screen time for the Warwick Motorsports car, the 3:95. 6 minutes and 30 seconds of this session gone so far. As we lose Tom for a moment there. Andrew Dawson is the other car out on circuit. Steve Hicks is not circulating at the moment because he's on dad duties, but he will be back for the race, he assures me. Here is Andrew Dawson, who similarly looks to be having some connection issues out there. Matt Hale is the only other car out on circuit, but has completed his laps, Howard, and is in P2 at the moment. But Sam Sanders on top.
Indeed, and this was going to be the key thing for me, and it's interesting to see Kieran Harrison in on 4th place there. It has become the sort of theme of the season, hasn't it, that we're looking out for who can take the fight to Kieran, what situations is he not at the top of the field in, and this obviously is one where we are hoping for the order to get shaken up a little bit. So from a neutral perspective alone, it is fantastic to see Sam Sanders atop the timesheets there for qualifying, and with an intermediate and a clubman pole sitter behind him before we would see anybody else. 3 different classes in the top 3. How about that for a qualifying result to have? And your 4th class, in fact, we nearly got it. We nearly got all 4 class pole sitters lying astern, because you've got Kieran Harrison in 4th, and then Harrison Chapman. What a time from him to line up 5th overall within that rookie class.
Absolutely. Andrew Dawson has gone to P8, and I think the session, has now been completed. Tom Holland, P22, so that concludes qualifying for this race. This is where I hope that I've set the lobby up right, and we go into... Why is it gridding into a heat? We'll take a short pause, and be back in a few moments' time. Can he hold that gap? Isaac Lord has got past Ben Page now. That's for 7th place. Go either into crucial Iredale's corner. Has Davis got the run? He's not going to be able to get the run surely down here into the Stuart Essence, but he's got the run, he's gone for a big move. Switchback by Weaver, read it beautifully, saw it coming, kept the steering open, let Ben Davis come into the inside, and he still held on to the lead. That was brilliant racing by all 3 of them here, and I think that's going to be the crucial moment, because Joe Weaver, unlike 24 hours ago, is not going to need to do the overtake on the last lap. Joe Weaver takes the double in Senior Rotax Round 2 of Super 1 2022. Line on row 11, Jake Wilkins and Andrew Ravage on row 12, and then we'll have our 2 qualifiers from the B final. Bryn Albin and Dean Everest form up the 26 entries for this, the lightweight sprint A final for round 9 of the 2022 Club 100 Senior Sprint Championship. 12 minutes on the clock. Green light, great start for Mike Coppin. Sweeps across the front. It's a hugely important race, this, for the championship at the start of the run into the end of the season. Coppin versus Brunton. Early advantage, Howard, to Mike Coppin.
Yeah, absolutely. Last tour of the circuit.
White flag is going to be out this time. If they get past the line, it will run to the end. There they go. Oh, it's a big moment for Chris Hansen. He's gone round. Is that going to take anybody else? Yes, it does. Kelly Wright's gone. Hart's gone. Dix has gone. My goodness me, the race is going to keep running though. It's not going to go under caution now. On the last lap, it's 3 of them. Sanders has the lead. He's going to hold the inside. There's not really much help for Brenton at all. He's going to try and get the side grab working here. He's pulling alongside. They're side by side as they come through turn 4. It's going to be a run to the line here for the Simply Catnip 200. It's really close between them. Is Sanders going to hold it? Oh, there's a bit of contact there on the line. It's a photo finish. It's a photo finish. It's Preston. It's Michael.
Stages of this race. Ross Witherow is digging deep again. Has got down to a 32.435 now. It's about a 10th of an... Oh, he's gone for it. Big send. My goodness me. Ross Witherow, brave as anything, on the brakes into the final corner, takes the lead of the race. That was a superb, awesome overtake, and now is Ryan McGinnis going to respond back here? He's looking for the inside now. 6 minutes have expired. That came from miles back from Ross Witherow. Kevin Shine is continuing to go round, by the way. Really, he can drive, he's just not got a lot of power in the number 22. And oh my god, round the outside attempting. That is an outrageous manoeuvre. Oh, we saw one lap ago. That was even better from Ryan McGinnis. And over the line to take the racing room left by Whitefoot on the outside there. Good news for David Whitehouse, but he's got away. He just needs to get through Ascari chicane.
and Curva Alboreto, and he's got a great result here. Tom Dix just holding in front of Steve Hicks there. Dix and Hicks at the moment on the outside of the top 10. They need to get up 2 positions if you're Steve Hicks to get on the front row for contact. That's going to be a big one. Into the wall goes Dix, and Hicks. Through goes Ian Sumner.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to live coverage on Alpha Live of the 6th and final round for Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland 2022. My name's Andrew Mather. Great to be with you here at the historic Kartbahn Vollen circuit on the 1st of October 2022. We're here in northern Switzerland for this season finale, and it's got all the ingredients to be an absolute cracker here today. Here's your circuit, 815 metres in length, 12 turns, technical, in its 60th year as well, 60 years of racing here at Vollen. The circuit established in 1962.
It's Michael Lenz. Michael Lenz, who had a great finish to heat number 2. Something has gone wrong for him there, and he is out of this race. That's a real shame for Michael Lenz. The driver he overtook for the lead on the last lap of heat number 2 goes by him. Samuel Ifrid, what a season it has been. He's going to finish it in the best way. The junior champion for the last 2 years. He was at Grand Final in 2021. He's going to be there again in 2022 as the senior Rotax Max champion. Samuel Ifrid takes the win here at Vollen. Kurt Wenger is going to take the win in Master Max.
Final lap of the 2022 Mini Rock Super Final here at Lonato. Cantan's down the inside, going for the move into turn 4, takes the lead. Has he overshot? It's going to be side by side between the 2 AV Racing drivers as they approach turn 5. Will be advantage Canton on the inside, holds onto the lead, but Cosma Christopher is charging along, has closed the gap. This is not over yet. Kalea still there in second place. They're heading towards the last few hairpins now. Cantan defends to the inside. Kalea still there in second. Cosma Christopher can smell that remarkable victory. Cantan's still got the lead in this race. He's got to defend down the inside into the last corner. Get the drive off the final corner. Who's going to be Mini Rock champion for 2022? It's going to be Vivek Cantan. And the title stays in North America for another year. Vivek Cantan wins the race. Cook is still there in second. Carter's still there in third. They slightly bang wheels. Carter around the outside takes second place. One more opportunity. You've got to think James Roots is still in there as well for the race win. Grayson Wortley, he's got to defend down the inside into Wilkins. He's done just that. He's got to get off the corner. Oh, they're going to be 3 wide. Coming off the corner. Ronnie Carter's gone round the outside. Ronnie Carter becomes champion in the 2022 Super 1 Miami Bambino Championship with a last corner overtake. Have you ever seen a championship decided like that? What a race win. It's not going to be his first one of the year. Joe Holmes knows the situation. Richard Allen is going to win at Buckmore Park, but for the first time since 2015, Anwar Barul Smith wins a... Can he hold that gap? Isaac Lauder's got past Ben Page now. That's for 7th place. Joe Weaver into crucial Iredale's corner. Has Davis got the run? He's not going to be able to get the run surely down here into the Stuart Essen, but he may... Oh, he's got the run! He's gone for a big move! Switchback by Weaver. Read it beautifully, saw it coming, kept the steering open, let Ben Davis come into the inside, and he still held on to the lead. That was brilliant racing by all 3 of them here, and I think that's going to be the crucial moment, because Joe Weaver, unlike 24 hours ago, is not going to need to do the overtake on the last lap. Joe Weaver takes the double in Senior Rotax Round 2 of Super 1 2022.
Line on row 11, Jake Wilkins and Andrew Ravage on row 12. and then we'll have our two qualifiers from the B final. Bryn Albin and Dean Everest form up the 26 entries for this, the lightweight sprint A final for round 9 of the 2022 Club 100 Senior Sprint Championship. 12 minutes on the clock. Green light, great start from Mike Coppin, sweeps across the front. It's a hugely important race this for the championship at the start of the run into the end of the season. Coppin versus Brunton, early advantage, Howard, to Mike Coppin.
Yeah, absolutely. Last tour of the circuit.
White flag is going to be out this time. If they get past the line, it will run to the end. There they go. Oh, it's a big moment for Chris Hansen. He's gone round. Is that going to take anybody else? Yes, it does. Kelly Wright's gone. Hart's gone. Dix has gone. My goodness me, the race is going to keep running though. It's not going to go under caution now. On the last lap, it's 3 of them. Sanders has the lead. He's going to hold the inside. There's not really much help for Brenton at all. He's going to try and get the side draft working here. He's pulling alongside. They're side by side as they come through turn 4. It's going to be a run to the line here for the Simply Catnip 200. It's really close between them. Is Sanders going to hold it? Oh, there's a bit of contact there on the line. It's a photo finish. It's a photo finish. It's Preston. It's Michael.
Last stages of this race, Ross Withrow is digging deep again. Has got down to a 32.435 now. It's about a tenth of an. Oh, he's gone for it. Big send. My goodness me. Ross.
Apologies there for the technical issues. Back with us. We had a heat. It was non-eventful. Everybody followed each other around for 2 laps. We are going to go through the grid. It's unchanged from qualifying. So Sam Sanders starts on pole position. Matt Hale alongside on the front row. Jack Eyre, Kieran Harrison, Harrison Chapman and Matthew Shawnee make up the next 2 rows. All of your pole sitters in class are in the top 5. Andrew Dawson and Josh Mitchell start on row 4. Murray Adams and John Adey on row 5. Cameron Watson and Finlay Brunton start on the 6th row of the grid. Moving into the second half of the field, Adrian Goodwin and Charlie Summers go from row 7. Matt Kendall and James Fremont go from row 8. Sam Dimolo and Magnus Ridevold on row 9. Tim Penny and Tom Holland start on row 10. Eric Mignon and Ollie Davies on row 12. And then Steve Hicks and Matthew Davies complete the grid. And we'll have 1 formation lap. Full stands here at Talladega. Howard is about to get pretty loud here in the G3PRO 250. Single race, 94 laps. Hopefully no green-white checkers this evening. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, indeed. This is going to be interesting, Andrew. It's, you know, we were saying that it won't really matter. What does matter is keeping it nice and clean at the start, not having any issues there. That'll be the first hurdle for these drivers to overcome in what is going to be a long race here for us in this Club 100 iRacing Championship, with those competition cautions, as we mentioned, at the quarter, halfway and 3/4 mark. But nonetheless, you still want to have a good start and try your best to stay with the lead pack.
Absolutely. The field coming down the backstretch now. Lights out on the safety car indicate that we will be going racing properly at the end of this formation lap. Remember, it's 240 championship points for the winner of this race. It's not broken down into 2 races like it is with the GT3s, 3 races like it is with the MX-5s. This is 1 shot at getting a big, big haul of championship points. That's why it's so key, particularly for those in Clubman. Those are the drivers with the blue banners on their cars. The intermediates, those with the green, and then the rookies, those with the black. We'll expect the premiers to be towards the front as well. Sam Sanders on pole position for this race. Hasn't been at every single round so far this season, so he's a little bit further down in the order. But he ran well here last year in the 2023 edition of the G3PRO 250. Pace car is below the apron. It's a long run to the start line here at Talladega. It's not in the middle of the trioval like it is at Daytona. It's the full way round and closer to turn 1. Pit lane is closed. Once the instructions to go green are given to the drivers on their onboard displays, we will be racing. The lights are red across the line here at Talladega. The 2024 G3PRO 250 is go. Good start for those on the low side. Nice calm run as they enter into turn number 1. Sam Sanders has the lead, and it's an immediately Jack Eyre in the Toyota Camry there, the Rethink Racing Toyota Camry number 5, who's pushing through into second place. The bump drafting will begin this early stage of the race, Howard. Last year, we saw the drivers take a little bit of a while to get used to the bump drafting, but so far, looking pretty good. We will keep this race green. Round 2 complete lap number 1 then. And it's Matt Hale who's come to the front of the order. This first half of the race will all be about just keep yourself in play. Fast repairs are in effect as well. But unlike previous years, they're not unlimited. They've got 4 of them, so arguably you get a fast repair at each of the end of the competition caution stages, and then you've got another one just in case. So 4 should be more than enough to get through 90 to 100 laps. In and through the far side of the circuit. Matt Hale, Howard, if you can hear us, should be pretty much liking this. And there's a bit of a split forming as well. I think just behind the 129 of Adrian Goodwin. It's the Parachute Carrots in the second half of the field. John Adey and Matthew Shawnee looking to work together. Apologies for the technical issues there, folks. We're all good. No cautions yet. That's what we like to see. In terms of what's happened the last few laps, Sam Sanders has cycled through to the front of the order, Howard. And Jack Eyre and Josh Mitchell nicely positioned second and third. Leader of the intermediate class is still Matt Hale in fourth. Harrison Chapman doing a really good job there, Howard. The sole rookie in a breakaway of around 7 cars. Oh, there's a problem there for Jack Eyre. Bit of smoke. And in fact, has he blown his engine? Has Jack Eyre blown his engine? Because there's smoke trailing out the back of the Rethink Racing Toyota Camry. Jack Eyre is in the pits. Now, he will be able to use a fast repair if he has blown his engine, but that is not what one of the points leaders in Clubman would have wanted at this stage. So into the pits comes, as I say, he gets going again. Hopefully, Howard, you're still with us. There we go. Sorry about that, Howard. Not quite sure what's happened there. I think that's a technical problem at my end. But Jack Eyre gets going again, and we have gone to a caution. Now, was there a subsequent incident out there? I don't know if we can have a look on any replays if there are, or was a caution. But first caution of the evening, Howard.
Yes, indeed. So they will now go into that. I'm just going back through to see if we've got any incidents. We have got. Oh yes, we did. Yeah. So that was Matthew Shawnee. Matthew Shawnee, and drivers involved in that, by my reckoning, Andrew, based on who's gone to pit road, will be Magnus Riddervold, John Adey, Cameron Watson, and Sam Dimolo involved in that incident. Drivers choosing. Sorry, Andrew. Drivers choosing to pit then, as opposed to being involved in that incident. Tom Holland, Tim Penny, Andrew Dawson, James Fremont, Matt Kendall, and this man right here, Kieran Harrison, all choosing to go to pit road at this early opportunity, Andrew. Indeed it does. Well, he's in 13th place off the back of that stop. So he is, well, Jack Ayres in 12th place. Ironically, already up to the mid-pack, having had an engine blow on him. That's got to be a unique state of affairs. So he's in 12th. And he is the highest placed person who's paid a visit to pit road. Everybody else behind him has done the same. So it's almost exactly a field of two halves here, Andrew. We've had 11 cars that haven't pitted and 13 cars that have. Yeah, please don't. He's doing great. Yes, we do. So Matthew Shawnee and Charlie Summers both spent an inordinate amount of time on pit road. They are now a lap down. In fact, there is Matthew Shawnee, so the driver who went into the wall in that big incident. He's now a lap down. And then Charlie Summers. I'm wondering why that is, Andrew, because they would have had fast repair. So I'm not quite sure why they spent quite so long in the pits. Could they have gone in but deactivated? The total, yes, okay, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Of course, yes, sorry, very heavy impact for Shawnee and Summers. So, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, they are a lap down. Yeah, what's interesting here in the mid-pack, Andrew, is we're seeing the drivers who took fresh rubber come up against the back of the pack that didn't. And so that's why I think you're getting particularly frenetic action in the mid-pack off of this restart. You've got 3 wide again here, coming through. I love how blasé you were about how you could avoid. Just stay in the lane. It's easy. Just what could go wrong? Oh.
For Jack Air. Apologies for some of the issues with the broadcast. Howard, you've been, in terms of the viewership, you've been having a conversation to yourself. Apologies, folks. But in terms of a summary, this is where we'll go into our second period for cautions. Pit lane is closed. We were having, well, you could hear me, Howard, but the audience couldn't. The tyre strategy for Kieran Harrison looks like it worked pretty well on that phase of play.
Yeah, indeed. He was down in 12th place, and now he's up to 5th off of that restart. So putting the fresh rubber to good use, definitely there. And yeah, Steve Hicks has had an interesting race. He didn't actually do any overtakes. He put it in the comments a moment ago. Didn't actually do any overtakes before that first caution. Just things happen, and he found himself at the time second in class. We haven't really covered the change at the front, indeed, have we? Here, we've got Clubman's 1 and 2 in the form of Murray Adams and Josh Mitchell. They've got a class lead battle for 4th place overall now between Sam Sanders and Kieran Harrison. So, interesting little section there before we've gone into this next caution that we're now under. There is Murray Adams, our race leader behind pace car.
Indeed. So pit lane, I think, will be open next time round. This period of play, when it ends, means we will still, at the moment, have a competition caution at the end of lap number 24. There is one other rule in terms of the competition cautions, that if we've come out of a caution period and then we've got 5 laps until a scheduled one. So say, for example, we have come out of a caution and gone to green on lap 21, there will not be the competition caution at lap number 24. and the window is 5 laps. So that's not in play at the moment. This caution period should complete itself at around lap 16, but do bear that in mind. If we see another incident-triggered caution in the 4 or 5 laps after that we could effectively be having competition caution number 1 a little bit early. Jack Eyre in the pits hasn't been a good night for him so far.
No, and surely this is the pit stop that's going to hurt the most, Andrew, because he'd used that fast repair.
Well, he's got another 3 that he can use.
True. Yeah, sorry.
But the thing is now, effectively, your rate at which you're using those fast repairs, you want them in line with the competition cautions. We haven't hit competition caution number 1 yet, and Jack Eyre has already used, by our assumptions, 2 of the 4 available fast repairs. So, again, he's not out of it, but the risk, the element of risk is going up now, and he's gonna need to keep out of trouble. I don't think there was anything that Jack did wrong in that incident that brought out the caution for the second time tonight. But he will be thinking about that now, and just wanted to get through probably the next 30 or 40 laps without any further incidents.
Yeah, I take us back to show you the start of the caution, by the way. But my events log, Andrew, has no record that anyone crashed.
Interesting.
Interesting interpretation of events. But yeah, here's your leader in intermediates. Not that the hierarchy of classes mean much at the moment, because the current sort of class order at the front goes Clubman's, Inters, Prem.
Yes, it does. It does at the moment. I've got to say, Murray Adams. Really good to see Murray in play tonight, because his family's been having a bit of a tough time. Grandparents in hospital, which is never a nice thing at this time of the year. So great to see Murray out on circuit. Do also want to give our well wishes to Adam Delmont. Adam Delmont isn't racing tonight because sadly his grandfather passed away earlier in the week. So from all of us here at DDMM and in CLUB100 iRacing sphere, Adam, of course, family comes first. Fully understand why he's not here this evening, but do hope that you are doing okay, mate. If you are watching, we're on the 14th lap of 96. So there have been already a couple of laps added here for the G3PRO 250. Looking a little bit further down the field, there is Charlie Summers, who likes his Oreos clearly. Is at the back of the field. Back on the lead lap as well. I think we have had wave rounds, Howard.
Yes, we have had wave rounds. In fact, here is John Adey catching up to the back. We will have everybody back on the lead lap at the end of the caution.
Good stuff. So we'll keep an eye on those lights for the safety car to indicate when we are... I don't think we'll be going back to green this time around, because it's, again, quite a long run. You can see on the track map on the top right-hand corner. Oh, no, I think we are going to go back to green, because the safety car's pulled away, and it's going to be back to green. Murray Adams at the front of the order. Countryman Josh Mitchell alongside in the 154. Pits are back open again as well, and we will go back to green for the 3rd time tonight. Murray Adams takes us back to full racing speed. Immediately the low line looking pretty good at the start of these laps, Howard. That's been a place where Matt Hale has, again, made progress in the early stages.
Yeah, we didn't cover it too well at the start. There was some great jostling for position between, at the time, the likes of Sam Sanders, Matt Hale, Jack Eyre. They were all testing out the high side versus the low side, teaming up with each other in the first few laps. As, oh, who's that just skirting a little bit down onto towards the apron there in the mid-pack?
If his car's just staying down on the apron, I don't think it'll trigger a yellow. Yeah, it's staying green for the moment. We're on lap number 15. We're getting into that region of the race now that if there was another incident, effectively we would be going to the first competition caution. In the pits, Ridevold and Adey Not quite sure what's happened there. Didn't look like they had any smoke out the back of the cars like we saw with Jack Hare earlier on. But clearly having a bit of bother. Adrian Goodwin also in the pits.
That might be a tow, Andrew. Hang on, let's see if we can... Oh no, was that... That's very bizarre. I'm not sure what was happening for Adrian there. Coming to a halt on the inside apron, Adrian Goodwin. I think he might have had to tow there.
Yes. He's not had what I had in the Daytona 24 a few years ago. Just had his monitor switch off. You can pull that down onto the apron, you know. Murray Adams has taken the lead of the race ahead of Matt Hale. Kieran Harrison shuffled down a few positions, but is still very much in the mix. 3 wide, a little bit further back. Josh Mitchell now down to P10. Again, not necessarily a problem. Very long way in this race to go, of course. But quite clearly, new tyres serving drivers well at this stage of the race. Directly ahead of us, we're on board with Kieran Harrison. That's the 272 of James Fremont. James has made his way up the order quite nicely there, Howard. Good to see the intermediate runner who's been doing some brilliant work on the cinematography so far this season. He's up in the top 5.
Yeah, really good stuff from Fremont so far. The top 3 of Inter's. Inter's the only class to have its top 3 in, well, I say that, I was about to say in the top 5, but in this side-by-side action here, that's actually changing all the time. But Inter's featuring really well here in amongst our top 10. Here is your top 10. In fact, here's your top 11, excuse me.
Working nicely at the moment, and we're looking to just keep it nice and steady. We are now on to, or will be on to, the 19th lap of this one, getting nearly 3 wide as they come to the line. This is what Talladega's all about, and again on the low side, Murray Adams holds the lead. Matt Hale's going to go back up to P2. And also you've got one of the Rethink Racing runners in the middle of all of that. It is the 213 of Finley Brunton with the green flashes there with the black and white livery. Finley Brunton once again looking pretty good. And in the intermediate points battle, obviously Matt Hale is a strong favourite for taking the class win here tonight, given his oval experience. But if Finley Brunton can score well here tonight, could effectively nullify any gains for Matt Hale in terms of the championship and potentially extend his championship lead in intermediate even further.
Yeah, that's the fascinating thing, isn't it? Matt Hale would hope to, let's be honest, he'd have fancied himself to have got some tidy points within his class tonight. But as you say, mate, his fellow classmates are giving him a good battle. James Fremont.
Big incident into turn 1. It's going to be the 3rd caution of the night. Several drivers are going to be reusing or using at least one of their fast repairs. I think we'd say it. I think that was the big one for the first time here tonight. What was that? About 7 or 8 cars all involved. This will effectively be competition caution number 1 because we're on lap 20. The caution period for the incident will take us through to lap number 24 for the restart, at the earliest opportunity being lap 24. It could be 25, it could be 26. Either way, we're going to pass into the period of the first competition caution. But that, again, just shows you how quickly it can go wrong. I don't know if we can see a replay of that one, Howard, to see where that all started from. Didn't look like anyone did anything particularly wrong. It's just one of those things at high speed on the super speedway. But yeah, big moment. Let's have a. That's the sight of Kieran Harrison down low. Again, it won't be out. That's the back end of the incident. Oh, Andrew Dawson getting caught out there. I think the 271 took a big hit there. That's Sam Dimolo. James Fremont, after we were just mentioning how he was doing so well, will be shuffled back down the order.
It began around Fremont. It was in the mid-pack. And I've been noting, in fact, I was about to give a shout-out for the fact that you were mentioning the low side, Andrew. There were a cluster of drivers who were trying to make a sort of high side or middle. It even went middle at some points when it went 3 wide. Harrison Chapman very briefly was in the lead of the race.
Yeah.
Trying to make that work, and James Fremont was going with him on that, but it hadn't quite paid off for them. The low side had won out in that battle, and it generated from that sort of region in that cluster of 11 cars at the front. And then when the second pack came along, there wasn't a lot they could do to avoid it.
Indeed. So, third caution of the evening. In relation to 2023's race, we are pretty much following the same course. The first third of the race last year did have a few cautions, and then it calmed down into the middle phase of the race, where we even had up to 40 laps of green in the middle of the race. So drivers in now. Everybody will service here. It is the logical thing to do. Get some new tyres on, get some fuel in as well, and look to run now up to the next competition caution point, which will be lap number 47. Do think we've had a change of leader, though. I think Ollie Davis has come to the front of the order, Howard.
Has indeed. And Mr. Steve Hicks in second as well.
Mm-hmm.
From the back of that grid, having not taken part in qualifying.
And I presume has not stopped. If he's got to the front there, which is worth a go, I think, at this stage. It's if we stay green, it's not the thing to do. But if we have another caution, they're going to be sitting in a nice position. They're going to be able to, again, just take some fresher tyres. Fuel is not expected to be a big part of this evening's race. But as things can occur, you always want a little bit more extra fuel in your tank, just in case. If anything, to shorten the amount of time that you need to fill for fuel later on in this race.
Yeah, indeed. I think I agree, mate. I think it's worth a punt at this stage. I have to say, as a point of proof that I include a lot of pointless columns on my timing sheet, I can confirm nobody has taken their Joker lap yet. But this will be interesting. As we said, we've sort of had this early competition caution. Matt Hale continues to be a consistent at the front of this field, mate. We've got to acknowledge that, I think.
Yep.
Is that if I think back right at the beginning, I was who were we looking at right at the front? Sam Sanders, Jack Eyre, Matt Hale. Those aren't the same names at the front, but there has not been a point in this race so far where Matt Hale has not been there or thereabouts at the sharp end. He is the most consistent driver in the front pack of this race.
Is indeed. I think in terms of drivers off the lead lap, we've got Magnus Riddervold, Adrian Goodwin, Kieran Harrison and Tim Penny. Drivers just sourcing themselves now into the double file restart. I'm not quite sure what's happening there with John Ady. Okay, I think he's just getting into fourth place, isn't he? Yes, he is. With Matt Hale on the inside.
So we're seeing wave arounds begin now, Andrew.
Okay.
So that is why Adrian Goodwin is going to break ranks here.
There goes Kieran Harrison. So Kieran Harrison did, for a little bit, just fall off the lead lap there, but he's going to be able to get this one back. Adrian Goodwin will go round as well. I think Magnus Riddervold and Tim Penny might also be getting wave arounds. Oh, no, Tim Penny looks to be out of this race. Sorry, I just noted that. He's 4 laps down and is not circulating. So it looks like, unfortunately, Tim Penny is out of this one. Magnus Riddervold goes on to the wave around lap, as we are at pretty much a quarter distance of this race. Half an hour raced in this one, under caution at the moment. triggered by our third incident of the evening, but effectively we are in the first competition caution scheduled for the G3PRO 250, the 2024 running of it. There is now that's interesting.
Well, David, he's chosen to go for the pit anyway, so that is interesting.
Well, he should
And
be able to get back into the queue, but yes, he has effectively given up track position there.
Steve Hicks is your only person to have yet pitted, and he leads this race. Excuse me, John Adey leads this race.
I think he just at the moment, because he's got his... Oh, actually, yeah, no, John Adey has been cycled through to the front. We should mention we have a live race steward overlooking things tonight. So big thanks to Alexa Gates from SimStaff on board for tonight's G3PRO 250. SimStaff providing all the stewarding, both for this as a live steward and then all of the road races in the post-race reviews of any incidents out there. Ben Mills taking up a big chunk of work there on the road racing side, and both of them are doing a brilliant job so far this year. Let's also have a very quick look into some of the comments. Apologies, because we're running so many new things tonight and trying to make this new 1440p work. I've been all over the place with my head. Good evening to David Whitehouse is in the chat. Yusuf bin Sahel is watching, has been doing some iRacing official races and keeping up with ticking things along there. Got to get those iRacing dollars in for your participation. Apologies, as I say, for the technical issues earlier. But hello to Hilary Delamere. Adam Naffa is in the chat as well, and I think Adam Sears is as well. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all enjoying the last comms of 2024. My, oh my, what a 2024 it has been all over Europe in terms of comms for this year. Do the lights go out on the safety car, Howard, this time around? Are we going to get back to green this time around, do you reckon?
They're still illuminated. We're going to go around.
They've gone out now. They've gone out now.
Gone out now. I do want to highlight one thing, by the way, which is I don't know if we've ever had this before. The race is currently led by somebody who's been on pit road 4 times, and in second place is someone who hasn't been there yet.
Interesting. So basically,
that tells a story to me.
It does. I think it also tells us we don't know what we're talking about in terms of strategy. We're just going to let this one play out for the next hour or so. So we're 33 minutes into this one. There is time limits of 2 hours and 15 for the number of laps to be completed. But as I say, the pattern has followed similar to what we saw last year. The first third of the race, we had 6 cautions last year. That included competition cautions, and we did see the first 50% of them all came in like the first quarter, the first third of the race. So if the drivers can keep it clean for the next 20 laps or so, hopefully we can get a nice green section up towards the next competition caution.
Indeed.
So, something a bit different for John Adey here, Howard. Driver who started in the BUKC iRacing Trophy at the start of the calendar year as a rookie. Impressed a lot of people, scored enough ranking points to be up to an intermediate. I think this is going to be the first time we see John Adey taking a race restart from first place.
Yeah, and I do get to say the stat now. Intermediate, still the only class to have all the top 3 and the top 5 as well on this restart. So great for that class. John Adey takes over the pacing of the field.
And once the instruction is given with that green flag, we'll be back to racing. We're on lap number 25 of 96 scheduled at this moment. And the lights are holding red. I think we have now gone back to green. Steve Hicks has got a very, very good start there and will take the lead of this one. Matt Hale up to second place as well. John Adey holding there in third. fairly stretched out across the field. The drivers have probably got the message now that whilst these next-gen NASCARs can take a little bit of buffeting around, go a little bit too far with the physics, they will pitch round on you. All looking nice and calm at the front. Hicks leads from Hale.
Yeah, decent restart there for the field. Got some side-by-side battles further back. Harrison Chapman
yellow.
there briefly going... Oh, yellow.
So...
towards the back, Murray Adams has been involved.
Yeah, I think Eric Mignon's had a problem as well, as we have a little look at a car exiting pit lane there. So we go back to yellow again.
Yes, apologies if that didn't come across on the stream. That was Murray Adams and Eric Mignon there, who were having contact on the outside wall.
So indeed, they'll go in, maybe get a fast repair. And the other thing as well, I said there's a fair bit of attrition at the moment in this race, but drivers who do burn through their fast repairs effectively will be out of the race, and the number of cars out on track will reduce if the number of incidents present continues at this rate. Do you imagine that Steve Hicks pits at this point, or do we reckon he throws the dice again?
Well, we've crossed the first caution, haven't we? So
yes,
I'd say really, because we're in a bit of a cautions breed cautions situation here, aren't we? So I'd almost stick with it still, in a bizarre way. I'd almost say there's statistically there's going to be an opportunity again. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's serving him well so far to do this. Steve Hicks, your leader, and once again, ever present there, second place is Matt Hale.
Absolutely. So lights are on the safety car. Pit lane was closed that time around, so hence why nobody dived in the pits there. This will give a few drivers the opportunity to get again back onto the lead lap. I think at the moment there, indeed, our wave arounds are in motion. Kieran Harrison goes back onto the lead lap. Murray Adams and Eric Mignon don't think are circulating at the moment. Also don't think we've got Magnus Riddervold circulating, because at least according to the information I've got here, Howard, he's on 25.3 laps completed, and that number isn't going any further up.
Riddervold is circulating.
Oh no, he is circulating. Oh, apologies. And he's doing the wave around.
It wasn't a terrible restart for John Adey there. He was able to hold himself well in the lead pack there, still in your top three. As I think that was Riddervold going by on the wave bike. So Steve Hicks, Matt Hale, John Adey, your top three. Matt Kendall, who we haven't mentioned that much recently, coming to the fore there in fourth place. Then it's Finley Brunton to complete the top three in intermediate and fifth place overall. Jack Eyre. How is Jack Eyre still up in the upper half of this field? He's had a story and a half in this race already. We're only just past quarter distance. And then it's Sam Sanders, your pole sitter. Then Matthew Shawnee leads rookie class. And if you think it's impressive for a rookie to be up in the top 10, then I draw your attention as well to Harrison Chapman, who's had a great run so far in 9th overall. And then Charlie Summers rounds out your top 10. It's a mixed old bag, isn't it? The format really does shake up the pecking order.
It does indeed. So, no, Hicks does not go for the pits. Pits will have been open on that time around. So, looks like we are forming. Yeah, lights are out on the safety car. So, yeah, nobody's pitted. or not. If they have, not a lot of them have pitted. So we're going to go back to green this time around. Everybody back into 2x2 formation. Interestingly, this time though, Howard, Matt Hale is going to be on the outside for this run towards turn 1.
He is indeed. Sorry, Andrew.
He
is indeed going to be on the outside.
I should explain, folks. Mr. Mitchell is suffering from this end of December work-related illness. So, are you okay over there, mate? Are you all good? He's got the sniffles again.
We're okay. We're holding up okay. Getting it all out of the way before Christmas.
Yeah. Get it out before this time next week. Right. Lights are out on the safety car. That was caution period number 4. And we're ready for some iRacing, please, not iPacing. And hopefully we'll see our longest run of the night so far. We have got, at least according to the information that I've got on my screen, appreciate that, again, systems in development. I think we've still got 23 runners of the 24, but surely by this point, a number of them have burnt through at least 2. Well, we know Jack Ayres burnt through 2 of the fast repairs, possibly 3 by now, and they've only got 1 more remaining. Over to Steve Hicks to get this one underway again. Will John Adey play things a bit differently on this restart? Hicks has gone at a good time. It's allowed Matt Hale to get down and ahead of John Adey. So Matt Hale gets back onto the low line. All running through turn 1. It's Hicks from Hale, Adey, Kendall, Ayre, Brunton, Sanders, Shawnee, Chapman and Josh Mitchell back up to the top 10.
Yeah, good effort from Steve Hicks on the restart. Matt Hale staying with him though. They head down the back straight here at Talladega.
Looks like Finley Brunton is working his way forward with a little bit of help, possibly from Sam Sanders. Josh Mitchell's had a quick restart to this one as well. As mentioned, up into the top 10. It's Harrison Chapman in the other of the yellow cars coming forward once again, and Matthew Shawnee in there as well. Up to second place goes Finley Brunton. High side working right now, so much so that Finley Brunton is going to take the lead of this race.
Yeah, well, Finley Brunton holding out on the low side, isn't he, versus the high side with Sam Sanders at the head. Down this back straight, but yeah, high side being made to work. And look at Harrison Chapman as well in that high side, not for the first time, throwing in his lot with that high side. Got to be careful though, looking a little loose there on the high side there briefly. Low side starting to win back out again in this exchange. Here we go again. Finley Brunton in that 2-1-3. He's got Sam Sanders right behind him.
I just wonder, Howard, if we're starting to see a little bit of track evolution, because lane 2 through turn 1 is looking a lot better than it did, say, 10, 15 laps ago. And here comes Sam Sanders again, who was pole sitter, of course, for this one, nearly 4 wide as they run down the back stretch. Kieran Harrison at the back of this main group. So that's 16 of them running through the far end of the circuit, coming back towards the finish line once again. This will complete lap number 32. We're pretty much at a third distance. 44 minutes gone, so again we're on course for probably around a 2-hour race. There's coming out of the pits there is Magnus Riddervold. I think Andrew Dawson has also had a problem out there, and Eric Mignon. They're both all listed as off the lead lap at the moment. Steve Hicks back to the front of the order now, and well, Brunton all of a sudden down to 5th place. This is where you've just got to be patient. If you've been one of those leaders, you find the pack coming through. Got to trust that the momentum will swing back towards you as the race goes on.
Yeah, I think things just got a little bit loose in the latter half of that last lap on the high-siders, and it just broke down the discipline a little bit. It's allowed those on the low side to capitalise, although Sam Sanders has been able to switch down onto that. But some really, really good exchanges over these last few laps. Let's give kudos to the drivers. Since we've gone back to green, this has been, I think, the best exchanges and the most sustained exchanges for position that we've seen so far in this G3PRO 250 race for 2024.
It's good. This is more like it from the drivers. Top four, possible opportunity for them to break away, because Brunton and Kendall are side by side as they run towards turn number 3. I think they're going to be pulled back in. Harrison Chapman continued to do a great job there in 4th place. The rookie picked up iRacing for the first time just before the 2nd round of this championship, the first of the MX5 races. That was in the wet at Suzuka. I have been thoroughly impressed at his rate of getting on top of things in iRacing. Even saying that, though, I was not expecting to see him up in 4th place in his first ovals race, on with the helicopter cam. Hicks there in the number 4, leads from the 2:33 of Hale. Sam Sanders waiting, just biding his time right now in the number 3 in 3rd place. Harrison Chapman still there in 4th. This is the next pack, headed up by Brunton and Kendall. That is the 163 of Ollie Davis, currently running in 17th place. Through past the grandstand once again to complete lap number 35. Davis switches to the high side. I see Kieran Harrison on the low side there in the number 1. 14th place. And the good thing for Kieran Harrison, given his dominance at the start of the season, he's not effectively used any drop scores yet. He doesn't need to go all out tonight. He'd like to take another race win. He'd like to further strengthen his championship position, but he doesn't need to at this stage of the season, Howard.
No, exactly. He can largely, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very interesting to see the change to the pecking order that we've been talking about, but even so, he has the luxury of not needing to get too great a result out there tonight. But as you say, he's a racer, he'll still be going for it.
On board with Josh Mitchell, virtually on board. Ahead of us is Matt Kendall there in the white, red and black Ford Mustang. It's going to give Kendall a little bit of a bump draft there. Finley Brunton on the inside of the 213 black, white and green Rethink Racing machine. Looking back from Sam Sanders, here comes the push. Kendall, Mitchell. I think John Adey might be a little bit further back, may have some help in the form of teammate Matthew Shawnee. High side working nicely there. Josh Mitchell, I think he's going to stick with that because they've got a bit of momentum, him and Matt Kendall, to try and get to the front of the order. On to lap number 37. Next competition caution, in terms of a scheduled one, is lap 47. If we get through another 5-6 laps here, this will be a good run up to the next scheduled point. Drivers to come in, get some new tyres, get some new fuel, some fresh fuel, keep this race green.
You know the irony here, a reminder that the only person who hasn't pitted and taken the service, as we're going 3 wide here.
Oh, in the wall.
That's a hairy moment there for Charlie Summers.
Yeah, Charlie Summers up in the wall. I think we've kept it green, but that might be a bit of damage for Charlie Summers. Will he? Oh, now there's... Oh, I knew if I talked about incidents that it was going to inevitably fall short. Oh, it's an engine, or possible another engine, but I think there was a hit into the wall for Matthew Shawnee there. It's a single car incident, so we keep going for green for now. No sign of the caution out at this moment. To be fair, if there's no danger to any other cars, there's no immediate need for a caution.
And so what I was saying, that Andrew, is the one driver who hasn't taken a service yet is Steve Hicks.
Yeah.
And in some ways, he probably was banking on another caution having happened by now. So at what point does this start to hurt him? Will he get some pain before we get to the next competition caution? That's a question for me right now.
I just wonder, will he run out of fuel? Will he have to make a green flag pit stop for fuel? And if he does, that's not going to be good news at all, because again, once we get to the competition caution, everybody's going to come in. Everybody's going to come in and get new tyres and some new fuel. So if Hicks can make it work, if Hicks can eke that fuel out to lap 47, this could be a bit of a masterstroke to just get himself in play. He is going to need to fill up more though. Oh, as there's a car with an engine failure, everybody's going to have to sweep round. Was that the John Adey, or is it Matthew Shawnee, I think, in trouble? Yes, it was. The 314 of Matthew Shawnee has gone a lap down and is down on the apron. So we stay green. Past 40 laps now, or onto the 40th lap, I should say. Still Steve Hicks at the front of this order. Matt Hale there behind. Sam Sanders third. Findlay Brunton fourth. Harrison Chapman fifth. Just to note as well, Charlie Summers has kept going after that touch of the wall in the number 35 Oreo car. But I don't think it's got the best of pace right now. It's fallen off the back of the main group. Kieran Harrison has dropped as well to P16. Is this the start of the opportunities for the likes of Matt Kendall there in the number 67? This could be a big night. He's got to get himself forward, though. He's going to get a bit of help from Jack Eyre behind. That's nice work between Kendall and Eyre. They're up to P6 and P7.
Yeah, that was really nicely done, actually, between those two. Great bump draft there. And they've really made that work, haven't they? Bridging a bit of a gap to Murray Adams, Josh Mitchell and James Fremont behind.
Back at the front of the order. Hicks still looking good. Probably quite liking the fact he's getting a bit of propulsion from the likes of Hale and Sanders behind.
Yeah, they're working well together at the moment as well in this breakaway group of 5. A little bit of a break-up from the 11 or so cars that we were seeing in our lead pack earlier on. You know, on the driver tracker, how the field's spread out somewhat. But don't worry, because we have that competition caution coming.
We are at the stage of the race now. If there was an incident, we'd effectively go into competition caution number 2. We hope not, because it would just rather keep the race green. Andrew Dawson, I think, is the car directly ahead, the orange and blue car, as Hicks checks up to driver's right, up onto the high side. I wonder, is Hicks starting to lose? I think Hicks wants the slipstream. I think Hicks is starting to struggle maybe on fuel mileage and doesn't want to be sitting at the front of the pack anymore. So that will cycle Matt Hale to the front of the order. Andrew Dawson goes high to let the rest of the runners go through.
But you got to say, Andrew, if that is indeed the case, good play to realise it.
Yeah.
Drop back, keep yourself in that fight. It's not what you would have wanted.
No, not at this stage. And the thing with it as well, we are 1 moment away from going to that second competition caution. We're on lap 44. If there was an incident out there on track, we'd immediately go into it. The trouble for Hicks at the moment is everything's a bit more spread out. Everyone's got a bit more room. That reduces the chances of an incident-triggered caution. And yeah, he's going to have to pit. He's going to have to pit. Steve Hicks is out of fuel. This is the first time we've seen the number 4 on pit road this evening. Now, this is going to be interesting to see where he slots out and also if he can hold himself on the lead lap. I imagine he would hold himself on the lead lap. Will brim the tank, take fresh tyres as well. Back at the front of the order, Matt Hale, Sam Sanders, Findlay Brunton and Harrison Chapman is the lead group. Andrew Dawson, yes, is the 5th car there, but is 1 lap off the overall lead. Looking at where Steve Hicks is, he's off the box now. I don't know if he's going to stay on the lead lap here. He's on his way. The leaders are just coming through the tri-oval now. If Hicks can get back up to speed, he will keep himself on the lead lap. I think he is going to keep himself on the lead lap. There goes Magnus Riddervold. There goes Thomas Holland as well. In fact, Hicks will get out ahead of Thomas Holland. But that's the thing. That's the cost of a green flag pit stop. He's almost lost a full lap, Howard.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you got to feel for him in a little way, because we have had such a turnaround. If you look at the sort of ratio of green flag to caution, the last sort of 20 laps compared to the previous 20 laps, it's night and day. You can see why he made the bet, frankly.
Yeah.
And it hasn't paid off.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 laps short of working at this stage. We are on to lap 47. This should be the last lap of green before competition caution number 2. This will give the opportunity to Matthew Davis, Adrian Goodwin, Magnus Riddervold, Tom Holland, Andrew Dawson, and Eric Mignon, I think and Matthew Shawnee as well, all to get back onto the lead lap. Or actually for Shawnee, I think it would be to get onto 1 lap down. In a way, this runs like a stage race. There are no points awarded at the end of the stage, though. The points are all decided at the very end of the race. This is the halfway stage of the race. Over the line will go the leaders in a moment. On to lap number 48. And there it is. Caution is out. Competition caution number 2. Better run of green there. That is more like it. That again is pretty much in line, Howard, with what we saw last year. First run, first quarter of the race, and immediately after it, bit crashy. But it settled down in the middle phase, and we've seen that again here tonight.
Yeah, as we said at the very top of the broadcast, this isn't a discipline that a lot of these drivers frequent, or at least not one that they frequent with anything like as much as they do with the road course racing. So, yeah, it can take a little while for the drivers to get into the swing of things, and that's exactly what we've seen this evening. And again, just reflecting on Steve Hicks's strategic play, all he did was bet just a little too much on he was after a slightly slower rate of it calming down, and it just calmed down on him, if you like. But yeah, the big positive, a much better section of green there, and a highly entertaining section as well. That was fantastic battling we were treated to during that one.
So if you're just joining us, if you're just joining us and you're a regular viewer of the 2024-2025 Club 100 iRacing Championship, do not adjust your television sets, your laptops, your PCs, your mobile phones, whatever you're watching the stream on. If you're enjoying it, do give it a like and a subscribe as well. That is Matt Hale leading from Sam Sanders. Sam Sanders being P2 is something we would expect. Finley Brunton, Harrison Chapman, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. And yeah, Kieran Harrison down in P15 at the moment. We are only halfway through this race, though. This is lap number 49. Into the pits, I suspect, will come pretty much everybody. Andrew Dawson's going to go round again, at least just to get himself back onto the lead lap. And can still potentially take a bit of service next time around. The other question here, Howard, is what kind of amounts of fuel have drivers got in their tanks this very moment? And how much do they put in to get them to the next competition caution? There could be some fine margins in this pit stop.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. They're, and again, you could bank on there being another caution, but we are having a caution, and a caution can breed a caution. So yeah, there's some interesting strategic plays you could have out there. Notable to say, by the way, one person who obviously didn't pit is now the person who leads the race, which once again is Steve Hicks. So in some ways, in some ways, he hasn't massively lost out, right? Because at least he pitted know that there would be a caution, so he can simply stay out and regain the track position.
Yeah, and I imagine he's taken the tank up to the point where he can get himself to 3/4 distance.
Yes.
And, well, actually, no, having said that, is there an argument? We now know that you can go... No, he wouldn't be able to make the end of the race, would he? I was just thinking, would he put a full tank in, knowing, right, don't need to fuel again? But I think he would, because he stopped on, what was it, lap 44, 43, 44, and that's a good degree short of half distance. Not by a lot, but it is still short. And when it comes to fuel, when it comes to fuel management, there's no and considering that those 43, 44 laps were under a lot of caution as well, so yes. Yeah, he's surely going to have to fuel a little bit next time around. So, or at some point later on in this race, how has it changed things in terms of the order? Hicks has discussed back to the front. Sam Sanders has jumped Matt Hale, Howard, in that phase of pit stops. Josh Mitchell's done pretty well out of it as well. Is up to 4th place, and Matt Kendall 5th place. Harrison Chapman down to 12th, so that would suggest that Harrison has put a bit more fuel into his Chevrolet.
Yeah, you would have thought so based on his position. We did have such a strong battle for the rookie class lead, didn't we? Harrison Chapman now really they're in 12th place. The only rookie at this stage left in the hunt to that extent, at least. As such is your rookie class leader.
See,
he's
still the rookie class leader. There will be waiver rounds, of course, in this phase, which I was about to say I think had happened now, but Tom Holland just noted having... yes, they have started now. So back through there goes Magnus Riddervold. Back onto the lead lap. Eric Mignon, Tom Holland, Charlie Summers, Andrew Dawson, all getting back onto the lead lap as well. Matthew Shawnee is going to get 1 lap back as well. 1 retirement from this race is going to be Tim Penny. Dawson in. This will be for some fuel and tyres, because he didn't come in initially on the marks there. Oh, not quite. Reverses back a bit for the 123. So this should return us, I think, to 22 cars on the lead lap. 1 car, 1 lap off the lead, and then 1 car that appears to have retired in the shape of Tim Penny. Has not gone past 16.63 laps. Matthew Shawnee's got... I tell you what, we didn't have this on the old PC. Look at the amount of rubber pickup all over the front of that Chevrolet.
Yes, the authentic sign of a car well raced.
So to say, Matthew Shawnee's going to be the only car off the lead lap, but at least it's got back from 2 laps to 1 lap down. And this is the thing. Matthew Shawnee's not out of this. There's going to be at least 1 more caution between now and the end of the race, which would be competition caution number 3. So if Matthew Shawnee can keep himself 1 lap down, by the time we get to when it really matters, those last 10 laps, those last 5 laps, those last 2 laps, he could still have a chance here of some very good points.
Yeah, indeed. And you can, that is one of the interesting things about those competition cautions, is it does provide an amount of, certainty in that sense. We know we are going to have another caution that generates different strategic plays to what you'd have in a fully green race, or a race intended and designed to be fully green.
Indeed. That competition caution, just for anyone joining or needing a little jog of their memory, will come at 3/4 distance. So we were at halfway distance. So if I can do my maths right, it will come at around lap 70, lap 71. So not quite ready to go green yet. The lights are still on the safety car. Yes, the lights are still flashing on the gantry, and we've not formed up into a double file restart yet. There is Matthew Shawnee just joining the back of the pack now. Andrew Dawson as well is... okay, Andrew Dawson is also not on the lead lap at the moment. Actually, yeah, I don't think the how it's worked with the pit stop has actually worked there for Dawson. I think if he'd gone into the pits with everybody else, got that service done, and then come out and then had the wave around, that possibly would have worked better for him. But again, he's not out of it, because we will have another competition caution in around 20 laps time. Pit lane is now closed, which would indicate, I don't think we're too far away from a restart, although there are still lights on the safety car.
Got an issue for Charlie Summers, I think, Andrew. He disconnected.
Okay.
So that's number 35 with problems there.
Again, with this format, obviously you'd rather not have a disconnect, but it isn't impossible to race back in and through. Mike Hart did it last year, had a disconnect, albeit in an earlier phase of the race. It was in the first quarter of the race, got back in the lobby, I think it was 2 laps down, and again, still managed to get back onto the lead lap and have a shot at getting a good result. Didn't work out in the final run to the line, but hopefully, whatever's befallen Charlie, he can get back in as soon as possible and still have a chance with, what have we got, 43 laps of this race to go.
Shout out once again to our dedicated race steward, Alexa Gates, making sure that all of these cautions are running correctly, which I have to say, from my and Andrew's perspective, is a godsend. Because
yes,
we've come a long way from the first time we ever attempted something like this. Right? I don't miss the frantic exchange of school classroom notes between us as to who was a lucky dog.
Yes.
that was a.
I don't miss the old NASCAR, which would spin if you blew a gust of wind slightly too hard out of the driver's window at your opponent. And yeah, the next gen car, I know it's not to everybody's cup of tea, but for those with a bit less experience, it's quite a solid machine. I had a good play around with it versus the AI, trying to be as bandit as possible. And it's quite hard. It's quite hard to actually get the thing to spin. There is Charlie Summers. You can just see the Oreo, number 35, is at the bottom of pit lane. Red light is on. So we'll not be able to Lightning McQueen it out of there and get back ahead of the pace car. It's going to have to wait for the pace car to go round past pit exit through turn 1 and then be able to rejoin. The trouble for Charlie is, oh dear, I think he's going to be 4 laps off the lead. That could be the end of things for Charlie. You know, we said he could come back from being a bit further down the order with more cautions, at least one more caution to come. I think with us being in the second half of the race, he's currently done 49 laps. We're on to lap 54. I think that's going to be a little bit too far.
Yeah, that is a tall order. It's an argument to say it's. I'd still keep it running.
Yeah,
I think there's much more opportunity to buy back into this race than there will be in any other format we raced. But yeah, that is a tall order from that position, no doubt.
Is indeed. So
drivers are forming up though into the double line formation. So we are getting ready for the restart from this, the second competition caution of the G3PRO 250 that we're running here in the Club 100 iRacing Championships for 2024-25. This is round 6. So we are... Oh, we're romping through this championship season, really, aren't we? But this is the last round of the 2024 calendar year. Time we catch up with this series, we will be in the new year.
January.
But right now, well, sorry, go on, mate.
I would say January 8th, the next race, with the MX-5s at Imola. But Howard, take it away. We're back to the restart.
We are indeed then. Steve Hicks and Sam Sanders at the front of the columns. Steve Hicks with the control as we go back to green here at Talladega. On to lap 55. Good initial restart there from Hicksy with Matt Hale slotting in behind. Jack Air going to the high side, trying to make something work for him up there. Not got too many people joining him there. I think that's Cameron Watson and Harrison Chapman joining him there. A bit more of a breakaway though here on the back straight. Finley Brunton trying to make something work for him there. And it's Murray Adams who's leading that column on the high side. Excuse me, it's not. It's
Matt Kendall.
that's Matt Kendall, indeed. Yeah, in the 67. James Fremont as well there on the low side as Harrison Chapman has cut down to the low side there. A good start from Steve Hicks. Good restart from Steve Hicks there into this phase of the race.
Just wondering as well.
Three wide.
Just wondering as
Sorry,
well,
go on,
Howard, the cars, just the body language of them as the track's evolving. And I would presume that everyone is running shorter on fuel now, knowing they just need to get to around that lap 71, 72 mark. Less mass times velocity, momentum to lose control of. Hopefully it can stay calm like this. It's looking good at the moment. This is a three wide moment between the 148 of Cameron Watson, Kieran Harrison there in the number 1, and the 225 of Matthew Davis. That's 13th, 14th and 15th places. But everyone's looking just a little bit more stable out there. I hope I'm not going to eat my words in a second.
Just going to say, come your old friend, the potential commentator's curse there. But you are right, mate. They're running well here. People just, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's wholly just the drivers, psychology and familiarity with this format of racing settling in. I think there is, as you say, a track evolution and a car mechanical reasoning behind that as well. I don't know if I can call the amount of fuel on board mechanical. That seems a bit rich maybe, but yeah, just a little bit more in the way of, I don't know, measures?
Yeah, measures a good word.
Here. Side by side for the lead though. Murray Adams on the high side. Excuse me, Murray Adams on the low side.
Right.
Matt Kendall trying to draw alongside.
He was on the high side. He beautifully swept down to take control, but it's relinquished that high side line. And Matt Kendall's done this several times so far tonight and has been making it work. There is a car a little bit further ahead on the road that looked to be, well, not in bother, but on their own and out of the main pack. Might have been John Adey. Matt Kendall looking to get that push again. Murray Adams will continue to hold the inside line. This is back to kind of where we were at the very start of this race. Finley Brunton's going to try and work as well with the number 67 of Kendall. There is the car in question. It's Eric Mignon. So it's Eric Mignon who's going to go up high, presumably to let this field through. Kendall leads. Could take the low line if he wanted, but right now, again, that higher line is working. Good driving there from Eric Mignon just to pull down to the apron. That's fine. Lets the leaders go through. But yeah, the manner in which this track is racing is continuing to change. But here comes the low side. It's now the far end of the circuit, the last of the big bankers. That is now to the advantage of those on the low side. Murray Adams retakes the lead. Steve Hicks still there on the inside line as well in 4th place right now. Matt Hale for company over the line to complete lap number 59. Matt Kendall has the lead.
Yeah, good discipline in the high side queue there. They just got a little bit loose on the low side. And it upset their draft. So the high side working again here. Possibly the most sustained period we've seen of that so far in this race. Matt Kendall, Finley Brunton, Jack Eyre getting their dividends paid in this queue.
Oh, Ollie Davies
Ollie
all of a
Davies
sudden.
who comes to the head of the field.
I was going to say, where did Ollie Davies come from there? He's all of a sudden at the front of the queue. I wonder, did he chop down from the high side to the low side to get ahead of Murray Adams? Either way, brilliant work from Ollie Davies. Can he make it pay now? Another lap of green done. 60 laps completed. We're getting towards the final third of this one, but it's again Matt Kendall continuing to strengthen with that group on the high side. And Murray Adams has done the switch now. I think they're starting to read that, that middle lane, that's where the speed is right now. Matt Kendall's not going to give it up because it's clearly working for him at this moment. Finley Brunton's quite happy to sit there in P2, and Jack Eyre. What a run from Jack Eyre so far after those problems in the first half of this race. He's now back up into the top three.
Now James Fremont sees his opportunity, cuts to the low side there, you can see in the background, having been on that high side for a while. So who joins the club? Can they gather a little bit of a following down there and start to bring this one back? That's Murray Adams going low. Oh, they've got to be careful whilst they're doing this. That's getting mighty close there on some of the switches.
It is indeed. That's no issues, no spins, no massive dramas. We remain green here, but I think it's nearly 3 wide. Just behind there, yeah, Harrison Chapman was up in the top lane there, and he's going to have a look there again. Here comes Murray Adams on that low side once more. In past the huge star-spangled banner overlooking the run out of the final of the big banked turns. Again, Matt Kendall, the drivers will be learning more and more as they go through this for later on in the race. Back on board with Murray Adams. Finley Brunton just starting to maybe think about squeezing down a bit and taking that front position away from Murray Adams in terms of that inside train, but no, sticks with it. Little bit of a bump there to Matt Kendall. That's absolutely fine. Jack Eyre still there as well in the number 5. This is more like it. This is, again, similar to what we saw 12 months ago, Howard, at this middle phase. Oh, spoke too soon. Big incident. That's going to be another caution. And that looked to be one of the red, white and black cars just being spat out of things there. Slapped into the side of possibly Harrison Chapman, who was just a passenger. And that was a big hit to the wall.
It might have been. I think it was Sam Dimolo rather than Chapman, Andrew.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, caution out. Now, this will be interesting. It's laps. Well, we've just gone on to lap 64. I think this will effectively be competition caution number 3. It will be. It will be, because this competition caution will, this incident caution will take us under yellow to probably lap 68, would you say, mate?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good assumption.
Which would be within 5 laps of the scheduled points for competition caution number 3. So, drivers are going to need to get their calculators out here, because what is absolutely critical right now on this next stop is you've got to fuel to the end. You've got to fuel to the end just to cover the scenario of, after what is effectively now competition caution number 3, we could run to the checkered flag from here on in. There are some drivers going into pit lane. Yes, the red light was on. This is allowed for if you've got damage. And you will have to cycle to the back of the field for having pitted whilst the pit lane is closed. 1 hour and 20 minutes gone of this 2024 edition of the G3PRO 250. Critical phase of the race here, Howard. Now what's happened there? Charlie Summers, I think, got collected by a car having a wave around. Now, Charlie Summers did look to be having some connection gremlins whilst that incident was happening. Hope I'm still with you, Howard. But that could be a bit of bother for that's after the incident. That could be a bit of bother for Charlie Summers, because one of the directives in the driver's briefing notes, and it's at the discretion of the live race control operative, when the wave arounds are occurring, when we're in this single file queue, if you're not on the wave around lap, you're meant to be down driver's left. So that'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. I didn't quite catch which of the drivers it was who collected the number 35. There is also the argument that the number 35 itself would be receiving a wave around, because Charlie Summers is, of course, off the lead lap. But a strange incident there. I know probably a bit of connection influence in that one, Howard, but that was a bit of a surprising moment for everyone out there on track through turn 1.
Yeah. Indeed, I'm just trying to identify that driver myself.
Might have been Eric
But
Mignon.
Yes. Drivers is in my list of possibilities for that. I could get on board with that suggestion. 6 drivers didn't take to pit road at the start of this caution. They were your race leader, Finley Brunton, Jack Ayer, Josh Mitchell, Ollie Davies, and Matthew Davies and Adrian Goodwin all chose to stay out.
Indeed. The lights on the safety car are out. So that would indicate that we are going to be going back to green this time around. Now we might still get competition caution number 3. Because we're on lap number 66. This is going to be very close as to whether it again, it's at the discretion of the clerk of the course, as to whether we get competition caution number 3. Because we're on lap number 66. We'll complete the end of lap numbers. We'll complete the end of lap number 66 on this one. And if I've got my numbers right, the next competition caution is the end of lap 71, which is in 5 laps' time. I think you just got to send it. Just got to go for it, haven't you?
This is going to be an interesting one for those who have stayed out. That top 6, that top 6 who have stayed out. Whether or not we get that other caution is going to be quite an interesting factor for them, isn't it, in the remainder of this race? Definitely be looking out for that.
So,
Finley Brunton. Oh, go on, mate.
No, you go.
I'll just say Finley Brunton leads this race, underlining how good a competitive showing we've seen from our intermediates this evening.
Here's another.
Have we had? Oh, go on.
Here's another thought. Anyone who did get a big gulp of fuel in at competition caution number 2 and is not pitted right now because they didn't need to, how's that going to play out? Because you've got a quarter of the race to go now, and we've seen from Steve Hicks already, if you've got the car underneath you and you've got the track position, keep going. Why give it up?
Yeah.
So away we go then, on to lap number 67, into the final quarter of this race, or there or thereabouts. Finley Brunton is your race leader. Jack Ayer back up to P2, has taken care of the number 5, has been able to keep out of trouble for the last 40 laps or so, is definitely back in play now after that shaky start. Josh Mitchell is up to 3rd, Ollie Davis in 4th, Matthew Davis immediately behind there in 5th, and here he comes, Kieran Harrison. We've not talked about him through the middle phase of this race so far, Howard, but the championship leader after hanging around in the teens pretty much since competition caution number 1, all of a sudden is back towards the front. Not just back towards the front, but nearly hitting the front. Here comes the number 1 with a huge bit of speed round the outside. Bit of help from Steve Hicks there as well, and Sam Sanders. The Premiers are starting to form together here to start to take control of this race. New race leader, not for the first time in 2024. Kieran Harrison, the reigning champion, is at the front of the field.
Nice play from our Premier drivers there. Worked really well together on the high side to make that work for them. But now it gets interesting because Kieran Harrison and Steve Hicks cut to the low side. Sam Sanders stuck with the high side and he's making it work here as they head into 3. Side by side, 2 columns of cars here at Talladega. Exactly what we wanted to see from this racing format. I know we've got a way to go, Andrew, but already I would say, as we're going 3 wide in the mid-pack there as well, I do think this is the most successful race of this format we've had in Club 100 iRacing in terms of the quality of the green flag running once we got into the swing of things.
Indeed. A little bit of a moment there in the middle of the pack. I think that was Finley Brunton, but got it back together. That's another one of the things with this next-gen NASCAR machine. When you get it a bit sideways, you can wrestle it back into some level of control.
How about Cameron Watson, Andrew, as well there in 2nd place. He's come out of nowhere in this phase as well, but Kieran Harrison back to his high side running, this time with Matt Kendall in support. Although the discipline's fallen away, 3 wide at the front briefly there as Sam Sanders seizes the advantage again on the low side. Sam Dimolo, who was involved in that, partially involved in the incident that led to the last incident caution, right in the thick of it there. Highest placed intermediate as well. I think that's the first time for Sam this evening.
Great reading from Dimolo there, just to give Kendall a little nudge at the right point. Harrison got himself in a bit of no man's land. Oh, big hit into the wall. Big bit, and was that Kieran Harrison into the wall? It was one of the standard livery. It's Kieran Harrison indeed. Kieran Harrison has had a big impact there. This could be a big moment for Kieran Harrison's night. There is another car involved. That takes away the question of whether we're going to see another caution, competition caution or not, because that is a huge, huge hit into the fence. James Fremont was also involved in that. We're under caution again. This will effectively become competition caution number 3 now, because this is right on top of when it was scheduled anyway. The question is the damage significant enough to Kieran Harrison that he has to tow back? Because we've been seeing cars that need to tow back losing a lot of time. Yes, he sat there in the pits. This is tow time. That's not a driver who's run out of fast repairs. You can't use the fast repair before you've actually made it back into the pits after the tow period. So James Fremont comes in now. A lot of smoke, a lot of damage. And pop, there we go. That was a fast repair. That was fine for James. That's not happened yet for Kieran. Kieran may lose a lap here. Yes, we'll have the opportunity for a wave around, but you're starting to get to that phase of the race, Howard, where you just, I know we've been talking about it all night, keep yourself at the front as one of the keys to the race. That really is a key to the race now as we're going into the last 25 laps or so, of keeping yourself in place so that you don't have incidents like we've seen there for Kieran Harrison.
Yeah, exactly that. Drivers taking to pit road. Cameron Watson, Finley Brunton, Jack Eyre, Ollie Davies, Matthew Davies, Tom Holland as well, all coming into pit road. It means for, I think, the first time tonight, by the way, we've got a Premier 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Not sure we've had that. Perhaps they were getting a little bit, you know, got to up our game here, lads. We're meant to be the Premier class.
Indeed.
That's why they were working together on that high side.
Really important pit stop phase, I think, for Matt Kendall to get this right, because, again, Kieran Harrison's not going to leave Talladega tonight without the championship lead. He's got a very, very strong championship lead for this stage. He's still towing, by the way. This is the problem. If you have to tow back, it can take a long, long, long time. Put you off one lap off the lead, potentially 2. Yes, he'll still get a wave around, but he won't be on the lead lap potentially here unless he can get the tow finished in the next, I would say, 10 seconds and then get a service done as well. Drop scores yet to come into play as well, we should remember. Every driver gets 3 of them across the 11 rounds. Their worst MX-5 night, their worst GT3 night, and then their next worst from the other 9 races, which could be tonight. Could be a driver that's not raced here tonight. Will effectively become their 3rd drop, along with their worst MX-5 and their worst GT3. Field coming around turn 3 and 4 now, Howard. Yeah, I think Kieran Harrison's going to lose 2 laps here. This could be the end of his hopes of continuing this run of 5 round victories in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. And there he goes.
No.
Oh, this is close.
He's going to get out. So he's going to get out. He's just completed his 70th lap. Everybody else is just completing their 72nd. So he's 1.9 laps behind everybody else. The wave rounds are continuing, by the way. Sam Sanders at the front of the field. But to go back to Matt Kendall in all of this, if Kieran Harrison is not scoring well tonight, and Matt Kendall's, still, and I'm sure he does, harbours any hopes of winning the championship and winning the Premier Class free driving an SP40 race in Club 100 in 2025, he has got to take maximum opportunity from this race now for me. And even if it's just putting a little bit of scoreboard pressure on Kieran Harrison as we go and wrap up the 2024 part of this championship.
Yeah, indeed. I suppose from a championship perspective, I mean, yeah, it's interesting in a way if we do get a sort of, I'll say, surprise winner, but from a championship perspective, it would be very interesting for someone like Sam to take the win because, yeah, it does give the best chance of there being a title fight. I have to say, the quality of performance we've seen from Kieran Harrison across the other rounds does make that somewhat of a remote chance, to be honest. I think we'd have to see a turnaround of form for Kieran outside of the oval discipline to really see that come through. But yeah, it would keep the championship interesting. But really, anyone could win this, right? I'm sort of hoping for a freak result here. Yeah, it's to be honest, such has been the impressive nature of how Kieran Harrison has dominated this year's championship. It's interesting and noteworthy to have somebody else at the top of that rostrum.
Is indeed.
Sam Sanders on the restart then. Here we go. That's the last of the competition cautions effectively out of the way.
And we will go back to green if there's no further incidents. This restart could be very important for setting the tone. And Matt Kendall's trying to get underneath Steve Hicks here. He wants that track position. He wants P2 ahead of the number 4. Sam Sanders has got a nice start from this one. Matt Hale is there in 4th place, has worked his way back up into the top part of the order. Murray Adams still there as well in P5, and Harrison Chapman once again coming forward. Harrison Chapman, top of the rookies at the moment. What a result that would be for Harrison Chapman to finish P6 or even just in the top 10. It would be a huge haul of points for a rookie in the story of 2025 so far. Steve Hicks takes the lead. And that's a huge run round the outside. That was a lane 3 move round the outside with Matt Hale and Murray Adams, who are looking to break away now. End of lap 74. 22 to go. This is a huge move from Hicks, Hale and Adams. Sam Sanders has got to get something together. The rest of them have got to get something together very, very quick, because these top three could take this fully away from everybody at this race. Magnus Riddervold is on the move as well, Howard. Talk about using the waiver outs to great effect. Magnus Riddervold twice tonight has been off the lead lap, is now up in P6. What is the speed like for Sam Sanders? Has he got enough performance in his... The number 3 was very strong in that third quarter of the race, Howard, but it just doesn't seem to have the speed at this moment.
No, indeed. They briefly had a good working trio there of Sanders, Chapman and Riddervold, but they haven't quite been able to break away in the way that we saw from that storming run a lap or so ago from Hicks, Hale and Adams. That was beautiful working together on the high side. And I think Matt Hale's experience in this oval discipline coming through there, Andrew, in how he was able to bump draft Steve Hicks through there.
Indeed. I think, was there a car? No, I thought I saw a car up in the wall through turn 1, not having a full pirouette and off requiring another caution. I think we're all okay. The gap is a second now between third and fourth place. Was that restart the key play for these three, who will surely just keep this formation right now? Try and keep that gap away. Everybody else now chasing. Gap is starting to come down. Is Sam Sanders as number 3 starting to build that pace up again? Has he got the support he needs in the shape of Harrison Chapman there in the 303? Andrew Dawson's back in play as well in this one, Howard. Another driver who was off the lead lap in the middle phase of this race is currently holding 7th place, who's about to lose that as Finley Brunton in the 213 looks to sweep round the outside. Side by side between the two Rethink Racing machines, both in the intermediate class. Riddervold on the low side of the 212, the 213 of oh, that's a close moment there. Jack Eyre getting on the rear quarter of Finley Brunton. But it does look, Howard, as if that top 3 are starting to be, well, not starting to be reeled back in. They have been reeled back in. Good effort there from that top 3. But at this point of the race, it's not going to be the critical players. Here comes Sam Sanders. Well, now he's got some speed. Now he's going to almost retake the lead of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you can see Marcus Riddervold, I think it was, deciding there late. I know, he has stayed high side, I think. They're switching all the allegiances all the time here. This is interesting stuff right now. Now Ollie Davis leads that high side queue. There's a breakaway group 4 now, a different group now. Hicks, Hale and Adams with Riddervold now, trying to break away at the front. And it's side by side between Sanders and Davis there. And it goes the way of Ollie Davis. So Ollie Davis, great play there into 5th place, 2nd in class.
I thought Sam Dimolo was going to try and make it 4 wide there through and over the finish, start-finish line. This is still very much all to play for on lap number 79 of 96. We could still have green-white checkers as well. A maximum of 3 of them. We have 2 in the 2023 edition of this race. On board now with Sam Sanders. That, I think, was Adrian Goodwin down below, trying to work his way. Another driver who was, I think, at some stage of this race, was off the lead lap.
One of the drivers who spent a lot of time on pit road, by the way, off of this restart. Josh Mitchell, former Clubman class leader in this race. And Matthew Davies as well. Not sure quite why they ended up spending time on pit road immediately after the restart, but it put them a lap down, unfortunately.
Had they run out of fast repairs? That would be the question I would wonder on. Because it's this part of the race. You know, if you've had your 3... there's a moment there! Matt Hale in trouble, gets it all together. Oh, just about saves it from going into the wall. Oh no, and now he's nearly lost it again, coming back on the apron. Oh, Matt Hale's opportunities. It's a single car incident. It won't go to caution. Is that the moment where Matt Hale loses his opportunity to win this race heat? And there is now a caution. There is now a caution, so there's been a separate incident. That has saved Matt Hale somewhat. Adrian Goodwin is involved in the incident.
Oh.
Let's have a look. Oh, it's a big one. It's the second big one of the night. It's Brunton and Riddervold. Really unlucky there was Adrian Goodwin, who got tipped around by the 212. Wow. So the first incident with Matt Hale being spat out of the pack did very well to keep a level of control on it, is saved in a way by there being a subsequent incident involving Magnus Riddervold, Finley Brunton and Adrian Goodwin. That's doubly good in a way for Matt Hale, because that's two of his big rivals for the Interwin tonight. Oh, basically, they're all in the same boat now towards the back of this field.
I guess. It's a silver lining. Do you know, at first I thought he was going to... I mean, at first there was a good demonstration from him of car control there, because he managed to not, completely lose it with the car. But, yeah, coming back onto the track there in the middle of the banking was a tough call there. First time we've really seen Matt Hale fall, apart from pit cycling, fall outside the top 7, I would say. He's been such an ever-present factor at the front of this race. Yes, 2 of his classmates have also been compromised there. What it means is that Sam Dimolo takes up that class lead.
Does indeed, and it's alongside his fellow Club 100 staff member, Harrison Chapman, sharing liveries tonight.
Most uniform field so far, 3 Prems, 3 Clubmans.
And then a rookie. Here's an interesting point. Kieran Harrison's going to get back on the lead lap here. How big a moment could that be? Kieran needed that. He goes round, is now on the lead lap, but will be at the back of the field. I think for Kieran Harrison to win this race, he'll be hoping for more cautions. There go Magnus Riddervold and Eric Mignon. Josh Mitchell is back out on track as well. I'm not sure whether he'll get back onto the lead lap or not.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I think he has.
He's currently showing us on the lead lap, yeah. As is Matthew Davis. So the 2 drivers who spent a long time on pit road at the start of that green flag stint are in play effectively again.
So lights not turned off yet on the pace car. So we're going to go around at least one more time. Sam Sanders will be your race leader from this restart, which will, well, this is lap 82, so we'll have lap 83 under caution. Potential here that we could have a 12-lap sprint to the line here on this one. We're fine on time, absolutely fine on time. 1 hour and 43 minutes and 30 seconds is the race time so far, and there's still another 30 plus minutes to play with to get these first 14 laps complete, but again it could be green white checkered a few times. That would take us closer to that 2 hour 15 mark. Hopefully we don't need to. In a way, I don't want to see a GWC tonight, mate, because I'm really intrigued to see if we get one of those runs, a 10, 12 lap run, as we've already seen so far in this race. The back and forth, the tactics, the middle lane now working quite nicely in terms of speed around the outside. I'd love to see a good tactical finish to this race as opposed to a last battalion stand with a green-white checker.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. It would actually be a fitting end to a race that, yes, has had plenty of cautions, but has actually, for me, been marked out by really, really entertaining green flag running. As I said earlier, I think the best running we've done of an event of this kind in Club 100 iRacing ranks in terms of the quality of those green flag battles. So yeah, in a way, that would be the right way for this to finish for my money.
So the pace car will be in on this lap. This is lap number 83. 13 more scheduled. And here is a big opportunity for the driver who started this race on pole position, of course. Sam Sanders, after everything that's happened so far tonight, has found himself back at the front of the order. Matt Kendall on the outside there. Steve Hicks, who started this one from the back of the field. P3, Murray Adams has been a consistent figure at the front of the field so far tonight in P4. Runners a bit further down the order, who we might expect to be towards the front. Matt Hale is in 18th. Kieran Harrison, P22, who is now showing not on the lead lap again, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there with Kieran. We're going to have to pause that thought for now, though, because once again, Sam Sanders takes us back to green, gets a good start. Wasn't particularly quick off the previous restart. What can he do in this one? Matt Kendall's taken second place. Got a calmer run into second place between himself and Steve Hicks. Steve Hicks looks to the high side. Murray Adams is going to go with him. Jack Ayer is there as well, and it's going to be another caution. Oh, that's a big one. Adrian Goodwin's over. Dimolo's involved. Many others involved. I wonder if for some of these drivers that might be their night done, because I would not be surprised if that is 4 fast repairs done for some in that group. And, well, that definitely, Howard, was a case of cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, it was going 4 wide at that restart, and the first car that I saw pitching round was that right here of Sam Dimolo, which unfortunately for him was hero to zero moment, because he went from class leader in Inters to now having to pay a visit. No, not pay a visit to pit road. But we'll so the caution will come into effect. In fact, does anyone feel the need? Got Adrian Goodwin in the pit road.
Yeah, that was the car that we saw on its roof. So unsurprisingly, Goodwin has towed back to pit lane. Standings just filing their way through. I thought for a moment that Steve Hicks had fallen down the order, but no, he's still there in second place. Surely for anyone at the front of the order, you've got to hold track position now. If you've got the fuel, which surely they all have.
You'd hope they do.
You
right?
hope they do.
Really
It's not a particularly hard situation from the second half of the race to get the fuel right. You've got to keep track position now. Who else has done well out of that last round? I said Tom Holland's not doing too badly. He's up to P12.
Yeah, that is he has been on a journey there to be your lead rookie driver now. Got a slow moving. Oh yes, so we have got people coming in. Sorry, James Craymont, Sam Dimolo, Magnus Riddervold, Finley Brunton, and John Adey. Basically, if you're an Inter, you're apparently it's time to pit.
Yeah,
unless you're Matt Hale or Matthew David, who were a little bit out of sync anyway.
Yeah, I think quite a few drivers just rolling the die now. Now it'd be interesting to see which of these drivers don't come out. If they're coming back onto track, they've got fast repairs in the bag, and there's no point trying to hold them back now. You've got to play them. There is John Adey's 221. That looks like it's been fully repaired and is going back onto circuit. Okay, I think we've got everybody still in play, apart from Adrian Goodwin, and of course, as mentioned, Tim Penny is retired quite a while ago. Charlie Summers will be hoping this kind of continues, right? Because you know what we're talking about with him being 5 laps down. Well, he's now only 2 laps down. He's still not out of this. He keeps getting wave arounds. There he is in the number 35, P22. He is just, I think, overtaking some drivers. I think we are now getting back. Are we getting back into double file? No, not yet.
Not yet.
Got no answer to what was going on there.
I've not got an answer either.
No. So Sam Sanders will look to do the same thing again. We're on lap 86. We will at least go on to lap 87 under caution, and hopefully we'll see that pace car pull in. We did see a little bit of this last year, Howard, of after the middle phase of the race, which was pretty green, the incidents then came back in the last 10 laps, really, of the 2023 edition. It's come a little bit earlier this time around.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure starts to ramp back up, doesn't it? And everyone starts thinking, right, end game, let's do this. And yeah, I agree. This is the pattern, as you say, that we saw when we last had this event on. It's kind of interesting, actually. The sports psychologists can go over this one with a fine-toothed comb, and I'm sure find a lot to talk about in that sense. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can have a clean restart this time around. Steve Hicks, excuse me, Sam Sanders, your leader. Steve Hicks in second. Matt Kendall, what a good run Matt has had. He's come back a couple of times in this race. I've seen him having really nice plays with when he chooses to back a certain cue or when he starts to break out. I think he's been really entertaining to watch this evening. Murray Adams, then your clubman leader in fourth. Jack Air. Gosh, I think Jack Air has been in. I think he's been in every single position at one point or another. And Ollie Davis, what a night he's having as well in that 163. Really good run. And then back up to that rookie lead once again. Harrison Chapman keeps on going, keeps on impressing. Still in the top 10 there.
Does indeed. He's the one breaking the trend at the moment of, say, the top three all being Prems, then a load of Clubmans, and then we start to get into the Inters, and it's Harrison Chapman and Tom Holland flipping the script. Two rookie drivers up in the top 10. This is why this race is so key for those running in the lower categories, because they can get their biggest scores of the year, which, okay, may not get them the rewards at the end of the season, but it gives them a much bigger opportunity. Pace car is in. Sam Sanders will go through this routine again. He's already done it a few times tonight, and he's gone. He's gone nice and early to take us back to green onto lap number 88. And away we go again. Good start for Steve Hicks. Murray Adams looking to the outside to try and get into the toe of the number 4 and ahead of Matt Kendall. Matt Kendall still holding that position. Andrew Dawson on the outside trying to make it 3 wide with Jack Air and Ollie Davis. We're through turn 1 and 2. We're further than we were last time around. Some of the intermediates trying to work their way forward. I think that was Matt Hale trying to gain up from around 8th place into the second of the long, high-banked parts of this Talladega Super Speedway, as there's a near moment there for Steve Hicks as he gets a little bit of a bump draft from Matt Kendall. Can Matt Kendall get it whipped up again, as we saw a couple of restarts ago with the middle lane? Has a car in front of him, would need to dispatch of Steve Hicks like he did with Kieran Harrison early, but once again, it's lane 2, looking pretty quick right now. Steve Hicks back to the front of the order as we're now on lap number 89. Steve Hicks is going to hold the middle lane. That could be a key move. Hicks goes low though. Hicks goes not fully low, he's kind of just straddling lanes 1 and 2 right now. Andrew Dawson up to P3. Matt Hale on the move as well, is up to 4th place first of the intermediates. But here comes Matt Kendall. This is where Matt Kendall starts to get that speed in lane 2 round the outside. Sweeps by past Steve Hicks to take the lead of the race. If he can do that another 7 times, he's going to win his first round of the Club 100 iRacing Championship. There's still a long way in this one to go. Moving up through the order, Josh Mitchell is up to P6. Tom Holland still holding as the top rookie at the moment in P9. In the 395 for Warwick Motorsport, nearly 4 wide as they go through turn 2, and Holland is in the middle of all of that. This time they've made it work. That was mighty close, Howard.
Brilliant stuff. Check out Andrew Dawson in second place. Beautiful stuff as they're going down this back straight and into 3. And Sam Sanders still in the hunt as well there in third place. Matt Kendall, what a charge he had a couple of laps ago, but he's going to have to regroup and come back at them because it's just stalled a little bit in the last lap. And Matt Hale playing himself back into this one brilliantly as well. Intermediate leader, and because of all the other inters, basically all the other inters, apart from here, Matthew Davies taking a service, they're going to struggle now to buy back into this. They're not out of it, but they're going to need something special in the closing laps of this race.
They are indeed. We'll keep it. Oh, it's a caution. There's another caution. There's several cars off. I think it's turn 2 again. And this might, depending on how quick this caution turns around, this might give us GWC number 1 of the night. Jack Hare has got a lot of damage. Jack Hare's going to try and drive that back to the pits, which I can understand, because we now know, having seen what's happened to Kieran Harrison and others tonight, don't tow. If you can get it back, as long as you're not on your roof, bring it back to the pits. If you've got a fast repair still in play, use it. You can keep yourself on the lead lap. So, lap number 91 is what we're on. We have 5 to go on schedule. So I reckon we will run into GWC number 1 effectively here.
Yeah.
Steve Hicks, you race.
I was just saying, sorry, interesting yellow there, Andrew, insofar as the trigger for it came from the second pack.
Yes.
So everyone in the top pack sort of suddenly had to go, oh, right, and sort themselves out. That's the first time we've really seen it like that, quite so pronounced in this race. John Adey was involved as well. He's on pit road. Matthew Shawnee as well. Oh, Matthew Shawnee very much on pit.
Rather overshot his pit box there. John Adey gets some fast repair service. Again, I think I'd say Adrian Goodwin is out of this race. Just to note that, yes, the 129 did not come back out onto circuit after the roll that we saw a couple of cautions ago. So stays on 84 laps completed. Pit lane is still closed. You see the red lights are on. But I suppose for John Adey and Matthew Shawnee, there's nothing really to be lost by pitting under a red light on pit entry, because you're at the back of the group anyway. You're not going to lose anything. You're not going to get put down a lap. You're just going to be returning back to where you already were. Real shame for Jack Hare that he got caught out in all of that, Howard, because he'd done such a good job. I think he's still got, I hope he's still got fast repairs at his disposal. We'll find out in a short moment's time if everything pops back into place on the number 5 Toyota Camry. But he'd done so well to get back into some form of competitive position. He's just trying to find his pit box at the moment. Yes, so he does still have one. As does Eric Mignon.
So did Eric Mignon. Yep. And Tom Holland goes back out onto track as well after, I think he had damage as well.
So the field going down the backstretch. We're on lap number 93. 16 minutes mostly to get these last few laps done. I suspect, well, we haven't got anybody, unless Charlie Summers is taking a go around. And he'll be hoping that, well, I don't know whether he's going to be, it'd be remarkable if Charlie could get himself back onto the lead lap. He's currently about to complete his 90th lap, I think. So 2.5 laps down. But again, you never know. Could catch and get another couple of positions if there's further incident out there. We are reaching the latter stages of this G3PRO 250. Steve Hicks is your race leader. Started from the back of the field. Showed that, do you know what? Should we just ditch qualifying next time? Just go straight to the race. It's completely pointless anyway.
Ditch qualifying, definitely ditch the heat.
In fact, I'll tell you what, we'll just have an hour and a half long free qualifying open session. Get your laps in and then just get straight to the race if we ever run this again. It'll be a lot easier to organise. We're on to lap 94. Lights are out on the safety car. We will effectively, we are now in green-white checker territory.
Yeah.
Lap 94 will be a yellow lap. We hope lap 95 will be a fully green lap. Key rule, as soon as the leader on the penultimate lap of the race has taken the white flag, we race to the end. It was very, very close 1 year ago. There was an incident that took a good few drivers out as they crossed the line to go onto the final lap. The key point being the leaders had already started what was lap number 98 for that one, and it ran to the checkered flag. So particularly for those in the second half of the field, in a way, if they're going to be aggressive, they've got to do it in the first part of the lap, not the second part of the lap. Because wreck yourself coming out of turn 3, and if Steve Hicks or Sam Sanders or anybody else at the front of the line is already on to lap number 96, that's it. Your day's done. You're not going to get a reprieve with another GWC.
Yeah. It's quite a bizarre incentive when you think of it that way, but yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So Steve Hicks has the lead. Sam Sanders P2. At the start of the race, P2 is not where you really wanted to be, but as the track has developed across the course of the last 2 hours, things have rather gone a little bit differently. Pace car is coming in. Green-white checker, attempt number 1, gets going in a short moment's time. Hicks and Sanders on the front row. Andrew Dawson and Matt Kendall on row 2. Watch out for Matt Kendall. He's in that middle lane, again, where he's been very quick for the last hour or so. Matt Hale still in with a chance. Let's do this. Let's see if this is the run to the line. It's a calm start for Steve Hicks. Andrew Dawson's going to take P2 immediately and look to hold that position ahead of Matt Hale, who will look to take P3. Not the fastest of starts for Sam Sanders, but to give him the benefit of the doubt, he didn't really have much help from immediately behind in the shape of Matt Kendall. We're through the first of the big bankings. We're clear as we head down the backstretch. This is the key run now for whether this race is going to go through to its final lap for the first time, at the first time of asking, through the second banking. This is where, if you're in the second half of the field, you've got to play the medium to long game. If you wreck now, the race will go to the checkered flag. Steve Hicks has still got the lead in this one. As soon as they get over the line, it's going to be all out to the end. Sam Sanders has got his nose ahead. White flag is shown. This is it now, Howard, as they come through turns 1 and 2. And once again, it's Matt Kendall moving up through the order, looking very quick there in second place.
Yeah, great play from Sanders and Kendall here onto the back straight. They're all bickering behind them. There's not really the cohesion for anyone to challenge them here. I don't think that there's enough people working with Hicksy here. This is a great run from Sanders and Kendall as they go into 3.
Round the final of the big banking. Sam Sanders is in this position again, as he was 1 year ago. There's a big, big wreck in the background that we should keep running all the way to the line. Sam Sanders, can he hold on for victory? Matt Kendall, can he find the speed on the run to the line? Who's going to win the G3PRO 250? It's Sam Sanders, who takes his first round victory of the season in the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Matt Kendall, P2, big haul of points. just starts to put a bit of scoreboard pressure on his championship rival, Kieran Harrison. Steve Hicks P3 from the back. Andrew Dawson wins in Clubman. Brilliant result for Dawson. The 1-2-3 finishes 4th. Kieran Harrison made his way through all of that and got P5. What a story there for Kieran Harrison, who, with 15 laps to go, was 2 laps off the lead, still somehow wrestles his way through to P5. Murray Adams P6 and a first win in intermediate for Magnus Riddervold. Great drive from Magnus Riddervold, up 11 places from where he started. That just tells a little bit of the story of his race. Another driver who was off the lead lap at points. He finishes P7 ahead of Matt Hale and Sam Dimolo. They complete the interpodium. Matthew Davis P10, Josh Mitchell P11, Harrison Chapman 12th, wins in rookie. Such a shame in a way for Harrison. It's a big point score by rookie standards within the championship as a whole. But for me, Harrison deserved a top 10 tonight. Just misses out. Into the drivers who had problems on that last lap. Ollie Davies, Matthew Shawnee, James Fremont, John Adey, Cameron Watson, Finley Brunton. So quick at times today, but in the end, P18. Tom Holland and Eric Mignon complete the top 20. Jack Eyre had a real night of turmoil. P21, that's not the kind of result he would have wanted. Charlie Summers, P22. Adrian Goodwin, P23, retired at the end of lap 84. And Tim Penny will be classified and given points for 24th place, having completed 16 laps. Donuts over the checkered flag line for Sam Sanders, and I've got to say, very deserving winner, Howard. Had pole position, has looked quick all night, and a driver who's had his fair share of bad luck in the last 18 months in Club 100 iRacing competitions gets a W at Talladega in the NASCAR Special with the number 3 as well. How appropriate is that? Brilliant, brilliant drive from Sam Sanders.
Yeah, as his engine blows, yes. Yeah, he played it well, didn't he? He played it strategically well. You know, anyone who's, you know, tuning in, and I know we do have a lot of fans who maybe aren't big on their oval racing. Heck, I wouldn't say I'm aficionado, as I said at the top of the stream, right? An aficionado of the oval discipline. But to anyone who thinks that it's just driving around in a circle, the strategic play tonight was so crucial. And Sam Sanders, and I'll shout out to Matt Kendall as well, if you're second there. Both of them were playing so well strategically throughout that race, and you saw that all come to the boil there at the end brilliantly. Yeah, that was a fantastic run from Sam Sanders, well deserved, as you say, and yeah. He will be loving that result, I'm sure. I'm not sure if the pictures worked when I went to the replay for the incident that happened behind Andrew, but it was significant.
Yeah.
Is that? I don't know if that will. That might not be working so much now.
No.
Or maybe no.
It's had a moment.
It's not. But a lot of drivers unfortunate at the end there. Jack Eyre was involved, Cameron Watson, James Fremont, Tom Holland, Eric Mignon, John Adey. Finley Brunton, all of them involved in that towards the end. So tough blow for some of the drivers there at the end. But yeah, very, very, generally speaking, as I say, I'll reiterate the point. Yes, we did see a repeated pattern of behaviour through the event, right? With
oh, I think we just lost him there. I think what he was going to say is that whilst we saw a repeated pattern of behaviour, it still had its nuances and its differences. Stalling for time here, ladies and gentlemen, just to try and get Howard back. So we've been running things a little bit Heath Robinson here tonight. Let's press that button there. Howard, can you hear us? I think that was my end again. Howard, are you there?
I am.
Sorry, you were making a very good point about how it followed a similar pattern to last year, but I reckon you were about to say that it still had its nuances and its differences.
Indeed, yeah. So same pattern we saw generally of the caution, then some solid green flag running, and then the pressure coming back to bear. But even though the pattern was the same, I think the quality of that green flag running was the best we've ever seen. And as such, that's what allowed the strategic element to come through, because there were consistent enough periods for it to start to matter. You know, when we saw Steve Hicks, for example, put that essentially gamble on there being another caution, and it didn't play out, but it was okay because there was still that competition caution a few laps later. That's the first time that we've really seen with this NASCAR format that level of strategy and risk and reward really come into play here. So it was a different race for it, and our race winner is someone who mastered that strategy today.
Absolutely. Well, that all of a sudden brings an end to DDMM commentaries for 2024. It's been quite a year. There will never be a year like it again. Howard, for the last time this year, thank you so much, mate, for all of your hard work this year. Of course, those familiar with the news will know that Howard's taking a step back from active comms in a physical sense at Club 100 events in real life as well. But we've still got the second half of this season to look forward to as well, mate. As I say, first half of the season complete, all MX-5 and GT3 races to go. Plenty for us to get our teeth into when 2025 does come around in 2 weeks' time.
Absolutely, and thank you, mate. It's been a cracking year. Really looking forward to the rest of this championship, and to everybody out there, a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season to you all, and have a fantastic new year as well.
We're going to check out. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been DDMM 2024, a year where, well, I think it was easier to count the weekends and the weeks where we weren't doing a commentary than the ones where we were. Thank you very much for all of your support, whether it's been with this championship, whether it's been with Club 100 in real life, the British Kart Championships, and then all the European bits as well, including, of course, those fascinating karting world championships at PF International. That's it for 2024. We'll be back very early in 2025. The next round of this championship, MX-5s at Imola on the 8th of January. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting. Have a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year. We will see you in 2025 here on DDMM.